Welcome back to part 2 of The Red Fox in Snow. Now, in the end of part 1, we were working on the background, so we're going to continue with the background. Base coating around the fox was 727.1 blue-gray, and then using combinations of 548.7 blue-violet, 536.9 violet, which is the one I'm using now, it's the darker violet, 371.8 permanent red deep, which is a pink, and 100.5 white. And then if we need to deepen a tone or tone down a color, we're going to go over it with 704.7 mouse gray. Now here I'm using a 211 NuPastel to add in icy branches to kind of make it look like a woodsy background. And you can do as much or as little of this as you want. I did quite a bit, and in the end decided that not all of it was best for the composition of my painting, and so I took some of it out. But for now, I'm just going to add in these icy branches as I see in my reference photo, and then we can take them out or we can add more. It's up to you. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit, and you guys can watch me continue to add the background before we go on to finish the fox. Here I'm adding some pink, which is the 371.8 Rembrandt, and I'm blending that in with some of the pale blue violet 548.7, and then I'm using a little bit of the darker one 536.9. So I'm just going along adding different colors and blending them together. It's real important to remember that there is a base coat of 727.1 underneath, which helps these colors blend together. With pastel on velour, as you build layers of color, it becomes smoother and blends together better. Velour is a little different to work with other colors, so just keep adding layers, not too many, but enough until you get the colors and the effect you want. So I'm adding more icy branches now with my NuPastel white or some other white pastel, hard pastel. You could use the edge of your Rembrandt pastel too. I just like to use the NuPastels. Now I'm working at the bottom of the painting around the legs and tail of the fox. We're back in real time now. I've slowed it down. And I'm continuing to add the colors and develop the background just as before. Now I'm back in real time, finishing up adding background around the fox's legs. Now I'm going to add some icy grasses, some snow-covered grasses at the bottom of the fox, and I'm using that, adding those with my white pastel pencil because I can color over the white pastel pencil and it'll still show through and mark what we're doing. And we'll enhance those later at the very end of the picture, but I want to add them now before continuing on with the fox. Now we're going to finish our fox. So I'm using the base coat, which is 411.5 burnt sienna Rembrandt. I'm using the end of the pastel, a little round end, to put in some color. This is one of my favorite colors. I'm going around the white fur on the back side of the fox. You can see where I've put it in with my white charcoal pencil, but I'm going to go around that for now. The 411.5 is one of my favorite colors that I use when I paint animals. I am using the side of the pastel. I took the paper off and sanded it so I can cover more area. And I use a cross hatch motion to cover more space evenly. You want to be even with your application. So I go back and forth in a cross hatch manner. I'm using a little blue violet to put between the legs of the fox, which would be the 536.9, the darker blue violet. Then I'm using the 704.7 Mouse Gray to go over the areas that will be white, areas of the back and the tail that later on we're going to make them white. So that's their base coat. Now I'm adding a little bit of 213 Sanguine and 343 Rust, just on that edge to add the hair. And now a little more 704.7. I'm going to go over the back of that fox. So I'm using, again, an even cross-hatch motion. I'm using the end of the stick. I'm just taking my time. I'm going to go over the tail as well. Now, after I finished base coating the tip, I'm using the 411.5 to add a base coat to the beautiful red tail of the fox. I'm going over the back legs as well. After adding the base coat of the 411.5, I'm also going to add a layer of 231.5 golden ochre to smooth over it. So there's my golden ochre. I'm going to use the end. I'm just going to go over it, and that adds another layer of color to it. Just makes it look gorgeous. Now I'm going to go back and start to darken the fur on the back using my 263 Indian Red, like we used on the face. I'm just carefully coloring over the base coat layers of orange red that we put down. after adding the 263 Indian Red, I can darken that with, I'm using a little piece, I'm holding it in my hand, so I'm adding a darker area with the Cordovan 353, just putting some dark spots in there. Just in the darker areas, so that would be down around the leg and the stomach as it turns underneath the fox. And now I'm adding some rust with the 343 NuPastel, going over it, which is it's just that beautiful red color. The combination of these colors really make this fox stand out. And then after the red, I'll use the 213 Sanguine to add bright red areas of fur at the top where the sunlight strikes, just as it turns into shadow. And I'll continue to use the 343 and the 353. So here I'm drawing in the red hairs with the 213 Sanguine. Now to brighten this up, I'm going to use the Conte Pastel Pencil number 17 to add some orange hairs. You can see I'm just kind of stroking those in. I really like the Conte pencils for working on velour. They work really well. And this is an orange Conte pencil. This is number 17. And I'll also use a NuPastel 233, which is raw sienna, to add some highlights to that hurt. You can also use the Naples Yellow Conte number 47 to add some light hairs in that area. Here I'm using the 213 Sanguine to even out the coat. I'm using very light touch here, just adding a kind of a glaze of red over the coat of the fox, going down the leg a bit. I'm using some 207 chrome yellow to add light to the back of the legs. Then I'm going to continue to make the fur on the legs darker with 263 Indian red. .263 to darken the front of the leg, and I'm adding a little more 213 sanguine red color, NuPastel, over that to brighten it up. And on top of that, I'll add some light hairs with 207 chrome yellow. So that's the chrome yellow. Then you can use a Conte pencil, perhaps the Scarlet number 28. You can add some more of an orangey red color hair. So I hope you've enjoyed part 2 of the Red Fox. Join me again for part 3 as we continue to work on this beautiful fox.